In the home of the Blues, Memphis, Tennessee, the El Marone Fieldhouse, as we wrap up the first round here of our Memphis region, the basketball tournament, winner take all, $2 million prize. It's the 2 seed Bluff City and the 7 Team 901. As we welcome you courtside, everybody, Matt Martucci, the former Liberty Flame, Tim Scarborough. I think what we've learned in 3 games so far today in this first round, we don't know anything about this region because it hasn't gone chalk at all.
I think we know that upsets can happen and do happen. And if you're this Bluff City team, you're hosting this whole thing. So you certainly don't want to go out in a blaze on Friday for a 3-day tournament. Having said that, they are a well put together team. However, the team that they're playing against, 901, was just put together this week because they were a replacement team. But they're a team that's capable, just like the others, of coming in here and pulling the upset. So it should be another good one, the 4th one we've had today. Yeah,
I was just going to say, just like we saw a game ago, constructing a roster late, not necessarily the worst thing in the world. No. Louisiana United can attest to it.
Exactly right. And conversely, you put together a team with a lot of expectations. When you get into that Elam ending and you're trailing, lots of pressure, and it's difficult to perform sometimes under those conditions.
Well, this is a Bluff City team as we look at Team 901. Bluff City team that we're pretty familiar with from a year ago. The is the same. Chris Crawford, you see on screen, is probably the key to this roster when he's right.
Yes, he'll have the ball in his hands a good deal. But that guy right there who put this team together, Will Coleman, will have a lot to say about this team as well.
Earl Barron, who's a 7-footer, former Memphis Tiger, and the Swiss Army knife of this starting 5, Adonis Thomas, who spent some time in the NBA.
He's on my all-Memphis team as well.
He's carrying the torch for anyone that could still win your all-Memphis region.
Yeah, on Friday night, right?
Because everybody else is gone.
Everybody else is gone bye-bye. They can watch on ESPN3 like the rest of us.
Bluff City coming out in the white, the blue, the red, and the gold for Team 901. Just about everybody here between these 2 rosters is a Memphis native, with the exception of Will Coleman, who's there at the jump circle, came from Columbus, Georgia, but then played his college ball here with the Tigers and decided to stick around. Coleman and former Cincinnati big man Octavius Ellis jumping it up.
Octavius Ellis. So they've been able, I tell you, the level of talent that they have been able to assemble in a short period of time is pretty impressive, quite honestly.
Yeah, what they've put together. Willie Kemp, one of the architects of this roster, former Memphis guard himself, and actually was on the Memphis Tigers team in Richmond that we saw. Kemp wasting no time, gunning off the bat. And Bluff City, you mentioned Will Coleman. I wouldn't argue that there's anyone in better physical shape on the floor right now.
No, he's put together, as they say.
And wanted to kind of change the dynamic of this team. He wanted guys that just wanted to win money, basically. Thomas is one of them.
There he is, 99 problems already, getting it going.
Shot 50% in the field a year ago, averaged almost 19 points in TBT 2018. Adonis Thomas gets them started. Ellis hopped to the lane for Kemp, but lost it and handed the cookie jar and a foul on Team 901.
Yeah, Coleman was about to send that, or Barron was about to send that down to Taylor, who had leaked out. So that was actually a pretty solid foul. So now we're going to see some full court pressure here. Jones and Kemp. This is something we haven't seen a lot of. Yeah, and that's why, though, these guards are so easily handle full court pressure.
In terms of name recognition, this may be the most recognizable roster in this region.
The Memphis, the Bluff City?
The Bluff City team.
No doubt.
A.J. Jones, who played at Southeast Missouri State, gets it back and calls glass. Maybe.
Did he, though? You heard that from there, huh?
Well, it's Friday night. It's been closed for about 4 hours. No late night deposits.
That was a walk-up ATM envelope situation.
Right. And he remembered his PIN number. Barron way out of his range. Crawford, nice setup for Coleman, count it, and the foul.
And that guy right there should flex because nobody was willing to get in his way going to the rim.
I look to my left and I see the youngster that he signed a basketball for before the game flexing just like Will Coleman.
If I had arms like that, I'd never wear a shirt.
Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't really hang out.
That's true. When we talk to him on the phone, for all we know, we don't know. He might not have had a shirt on.
We're into the late night portion of the region.
Right. Oh, watch out.
Ellis,
yeah.
Powerful, and will go to the line.
Okay. The athletic quotient is on 100 right now. Tay Ellis. Take a look. The double team, the delivery, and then get out of my way. Two-hand finish. Look at the elevation and the pressure by which he applies on the rim. Woo.
%70 shooter this past year in Greece. That's where he played his pro basketball. Coached by Mick Cronin. It feels weird to say that now. The former Cincinnati head coach.
Now Mick's at UCLA.
He is?
Yeah. You have to keep a chart to see where all the coaches are these days.
And there are only 351 odd ones.
Yeah, I feel like I know them all.
Jones one and done. At Team 901, late construction because Team Everyday ended up having to forfeit.
Team Everyday, but not today.
Yeah, just not Team Friday, the start of the region. Kemp. Coleman active early and often. But Team 901, the early lead. 3 of our 4 second rounders decided.
Oh.
And Jones, a little indecisive.
I thought he was going to rip it down, Anthony Jones.
5 of the 8 for the guy they call AJ. We are the last game of the night for the 4 regions. At least the latest start time. And Crawford becomes the 3rd member of Bluff City to score. Ellis dueling. 5 for him early on.
There's no way, based on what I see and based on the names on this roster, that this is a 7 seed in any region.
No.
This is unfortunate. As a 2 seed, you have to play a team this good for this Bluff City team.
Kemp fouled after Coleman says, my bad. And if you just happen to tune in to our Memphis region, we had the 3 seed go out, we had the 1 seed go out, and the 5 seed has gone out.
No, 4.
Or the 4 seed, excuse me. The 4 seed. The 5 seed beat the 4.
3 of the top 4, and the number 2 seed hasn't played yet. They're on the floor now.
Yeah, Broad Street Brawlers,
the
4, went out in the first game. Gale Force, the top seed, who came 2,100 miles from the Moraga, California area.
Yeah, you really, when you think about the distance travel, the amount of time and energy guys like Keith Kelly put in with that Team Arkansas team, building it. Bobby Portis came down to coach it from the New York Knicks. A lot of fan participation as another splash down by Agent 99, Thomas.
And certainly the Adonis of this roster.
No doubt.
Knotted up at 10. Almost halfway through the first quarter. Matt Martucci, the former Liberty standout, Tim Scarborough. Crawford with the rebound after the one-and-done miss. Their motor, Taylor Taylor. Bounce game for Coleman.
Oh, yeah.
The footwork, the bucket, and will go to the line.
That two-man game with a guy like Coleman is really difficult to stop. He and I talked about that. He played for Josh Pastner, a friend of mine who is now the head coach at Georgia Tech. And Pastner told him, listen, if you have a big that is willing to set that screen and then be athletic enough to dive to the rim, and you have guards that are quick enough to turn that corner, if you put a shooter in the other corner, it's really hard to guard all of that. But that big has to be active, and Coleman fits the bill.
Over on the bench, Matt Dunn, their head coach. His community college coach at Miami-Dade, and ended up following him to Memphis. And Coleman, 3 the old-fashioned way. Good start for him. And the Bluff back up. Ellis and Coleman, this is going to be a fun matchup all night. Good touch for a big for Octavius Ellis.
Oh, Ellis is a ball. He's given, Coleman's given up a lot of height, but it's certainly not girth.
There's Thomas, soft touch himself, and Coleman raining down.
Coleman active early. This Bluff City team has seen enough of these upsets. But as we said earlier, hands full with this group, Team 901.
Yeah, Taven Cummings. He played at Concordia College. Coleman setting the screen. Jeremy Hunt, another former Tiger, fouled on the way in. How tight-knit is this Memphis community? Our Uber driver knew who Jeremy Hunt, it was a personal friend of Jeremy Hunt today. Will Coleman got him on the team and continues to dominate inside. But Ellis with an answer of his own, back and forth in Memphis. So glad you decided to stay for a nightcap. And we may have saved the best for last here at Memphis. Bluff City, the 2 seed. 3rd time in TBT. And as we said, the most well-known roster here in this region. Put together by that man, Will Coleman, who's off to a good start with 7 of their 15 points.
University of Memphis alumni group.
And Team 901. Now, not exactly, didn't have to do much for creativity. 901.
Hey, they had 5 minutes to put the team together.
The area code, yeah.
But they did get a logo.
It looks good.
It doesn't match the uniform, I don't believe, though. That's kind of a Hoosiers thing going on, too, with the totally different color pants. That old Hickory team, right?
Do you think they measured the rims?
What was Gene Hackman's, what was that coach?
Norman Dale. Coach Dale.
There you go. You know all those fictional basketball characters.
Shooter was on the bench. Jimmy Chitwood. Ollie.
Ollie was the guy who dribbled off his foot at a key moment, right?
Ollie was the one who he Rick buried the free throws.
Oh, yeah. One of your better basketball movies. Blue Chips you talked about too earlier.
I said I'm still looking for Butch McRae gazing in the crowd.
Butch McRae as Penny Hardaway as Butch McRae. Shaquille O'Neal also in that movie.
Neon Bordeaux.
Wow, you remember his name too. And who was the third?
Ricky Rowe, Matt Nover.
Yeah, wow.
Hunt out of bounds on the 3-point attempt. I still want Penny Hardaway to answer me one question. How did Tony fail TV? I'll ask Nick Nolte too. Contact in the offensive foul.
Amazing. Tony wasn't going to class.
That goes against D'Angelo Riley, former NAIA player. He spent some time playing in Mexico and Turkey this year.
So they're remaking Space Jam, or they're doing a Space Jam with LeBron James.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Pretty sure it's going to be the same movie, but with LeBron James.
Off the Washington miss, Taven Cummings rising up. Team 901 looking like it's going to give Bluff City all it can handle tonight.
They're also doing a Top Gun 2. Have you seen that?
I have. I haven't seen the movie, but
yeah, no, it's not out yet, but 2020. They're remaking everything.
All it takes is money, Tim.
Somebody to green light it.
Ellis caught up with the double. Cummings nearly walked and got his shot blocked.
Yep.
And knocked out of bounds.
Dominique Johnson, 13 for Bluff City with great perimeter defense, and he was off to the races, but still going to stay here.
Johnson and Taylor actually the only two on this Bluff City roster that didn't play for the Memphis Tigers.
There's Darius Washington. Remember, we talked about Elam endings. Number 6, Darius Washington, was on Team DRC, and he sent this Memphis team packing last year with the Elam ending bucket. A tough one in traffic.
Well, you know the rules of TBT. If you can't beat them, recruit them.
To me, he did a opposite KD, right? He went to the team he beat instead of the team that beat him. He did a DK.
Transition for Crawford. Washington. And used the rim, got the reverse.
We talked about Mosley and others that just know how to score. Darius Washington knows how to score.
He's one of the 4 guys on this roster, along with Crawford and Barron and Thomas. NBA experience, Hunt taking the charge.
There was a lot of colluding in Richmond. Guys switching teams. We talked about Marcus Mosley going to Louisiana United. But Darius Washington is right at home, number 6 right there, the team he played for in college, Memphis. There's a charge being taken by Hunt.
And Washington drawing the contact.
Memphis has a rich history. We think about the 80s, Andre Turner, Melvin Turpin. No, Melvin Turpin played for Kentucky. That Memphis team that made the Final Four, I believe it was 1984, when Patrick Ewing and Georgetown won. You think about the Calipari days where they made the Final Four, got to the championship game. Mario Chalmers hits a big shot late in regulation, where Derrick Rose's group seemed to have that team wrapped up.
That was a great team.
Great team, a championship level team.
Chris Douglas Roberts.
Wow, yeah.
Joey Dorsey, Robert Dozier.
That team should have been celebrating. And what year are we talking? 06, 07?
I thought it was 08.
08, okay. Was Darius?
No, he wasn't.
Darius wasn't there for that.
He was there prior to that.
Those Calipari teams were great. And of course, Tubby Smith, a recent coach here, and now they have, we forgot Penny Hardaway's teams were pretty good when he played here too.
And under the great Larry Finch.
Yep.
Terrence got the jumper to fall, and he'll go to the line. Going back to Darius Washington, you talk about the foul line, just sank the 2 free throws at the opposite end. 05 Conference USA title game.
Yeah.
Got fouled on a 3-point attempt with a chance to send Memphis, send the game into overtime or even win with 3 made free throws. Would have put them in the NCAA tournament. Ended up making the first, missed the next 2, but has overcome the adversity of having to deal with that.
It kind of became part of his legacy. And it's unfortunate because he was and still is a really, really, really good basketball player.
And they did an article about him locally in the last day or so.
He just got a tattoo, I believe. White number 6,
yeah, technical foul.
But yeah, you're right. That free throw situation will forever be his legacy, much like Chris Webber at the timeout. And again, Chris Webber, one of the greatest college players ever. All people can talk about is that. It's just an unfortunate thing. We live in a society, you just hope you never make a major mistake in front of a lot of people, right?
And he's done a really good job handling it. Jones misses the open layup. Said he's one of those people that embraces it. Johnson fouled under the basket. Jeremy Hunt.
People forget Darius Washington was drafted in the NBA in the second round.
And spent some time at training camp with the Mavericks, played with the Spurs briefly. Coleman back in. The architect of this Bluff City roster. Washington sits down, there he is.
We talked about teams missing a lot of players, and this Memphis team obviously didn't have to travel, most of them, not very far anyway. They got everybody here, but Sean Taggart is a guy that they could have certainly used. He's not here.
Was part of that title team.
Yeah.
Or title game team, I should say.
Yep.
Pick and roll for Ellis, who might have traveled. Contact to the offensive foul.
Yeah, but I think they're using that semicircle. It seemed like he was too deep to take a charge. I'd like to see, we can see where his feet were.
And a technical foul also assessed.
Let's take a look at this pick and roll. And you know what? That is great footwork. Great camera work, too, by our crew. Because he stood on his tippy toes, had his feet planted. It would have been
something to pay attention to. Ellis just ended up with the foul and the offensive foul, then the technical.
Yeah.
So he has 3 fouls already.
Personal, yes.
3 fouls in the opening quarter.
How about that?
You foul out with 6 in this event.
And so far, that hasn't foul trouble really hasn't been an issue, but man, that's certainly an issue. Now with 2.5 seconds left, see if Bluff City can give a high percentage.
Letting it fly. And Hunt, it would have counted. Now, it took them a little bit to get going, but Bluff City opening this up. Here in the City of Blues, the favorite Suns up 8. TBTgear.com, where you head for official t-shirts, jerseys, shorts, all your favorite basketball tournament gear. It's where we send Tim Scarborough, where after he has asked for his quota. Once you've hit your quota, that's where you go. TBTgear.com.
We got a nice swag bag, but there's always room for more, right?
Like you said, whatever will fit in your carry-on. Memphis region.
Some really sharp jerseys designed once again for the second year in a row by Puma.
Thomas is able to shed the contact. Willie Kemp, who played with some of these guys at Memphis. Nice spin for Williams, who split his collegiate career, Jeremy Williams, between Colorado and UTEP. Tyler Stone, one and done. Terrence wasting no time. He played at Middle Tennessee, Marcus Terrence.
Yes, I remember him well. Score.
Crawford lighting it quick. Thomas open and sniping. Good eye sniper from the corner.
It's a lot to keep up with if you're guarding this Bluff City team, that's for sure. They push it in transition, they get to their spots, and they share.
8 for Adonis Thomas, and Williams with another.
Right back at you. Travel.
And Coleman deep under the basket and gave it away. 5th Bluff City turnover. Level of athlete in this game, high.
Yeah, like I said, the athletic quotient is off the charts right now. This game is being played way above the rim.
Williams followed his own miss. And Cummings, the left hand. And here they come again, Team 901.
Oh, yeah, and Cummings now 3 for 4 from the field. He's got 7. But yeah, 901, they are not going to be an easy out.
Another miss for Bluff City.
Lob.
Serve up, Cummings. Yeah, if you've stayed up later for this one and you came out to the game, you're happy you did.
Yeah.
Earl Barron back in for Bluff City. Another one of those 4 guys with NBA experience. Actually coaching now in the D League, Earl Barron, or the G League, I should say.
G League now, yep.
It'll always be the D League to me,
Yeah,
Tim Scarborough.
Me too.
Good curl for Crawford.
But when you're getting paid by Gatorade, you better call that thing the G League.
That's right. Williams gets bumped. Another bucket for Chris Crawford at the other end. I talked to Will Coleman about him as well. One of those guys that you wonder, had things maybe gone a little differently, could be in the NBA.
And, you know, it's just really, really hard to make it, and it's certainly hard to stick in the NBA. You know, Fran Fraschilla, our colleague, talks about, because he's a guy that covers international ball as well as he was out in the summer league, and now he's even working some TBT. I asked him last summer in Atlanta, you know, what do you think the talent pool is of guys who are good enough to play in the NBA? He said it's probably 650, 700 guys, but there are only 450 spots.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest go overseas and make really good money and have really nice careers. But some of those guys can play in the NBA, and no one knows who they are because they went overseas. You know, they forget about their NCAA experience. You know?
Score that basket was interfered with by Octavius Ellis. Taylor gets the 2. They call him their motor, by the way, Taylor. Played at East Tennessee State for a couple years. Just a couple minutes into the second quarter, Matt Martucci, Tim Scarborough, and Jeremy Williams continues to make an impact for 901. 7 for him. And we hover at a 2-possession game again. Thomas tried to shake Marcus Terrence and lost the basketball.
Terrence wasn't going anywhere. Could not shake him. I think Kermit Davis, his old coach, would be proud of that defense.
Yeah, how weird is it now in the last year or so to say no Kermit Davis at Middle Tennessee?
At Middle Tennessee, yeah. He was such a staple there.
I know it's the name of the game anymore, turnover in jobs, but
it is.
You get so accustomed to certain guys being in certain places.
Kermit, of course, at Ole Miss now. Did a really good job there the first year.
Had a former Rebel guard win one on the Elam ending earlier in Greensboro. Not coached by Kermit Davis, but Chris Warren.
Chris Warren, yep. If they're looking at this, whether it went out of bounds off of Team 901, it definitely did. Right there off the leg, and then a second one off the leg.
Update from our other regions in play right now. Power of the Paw and Greensboro up 74-70 on Team 23, getting close to the Elam ending there.
Power of the Paw, a Clemson alumni team, making their debut in TBT.
And Carmen's crew out in Columbus, a lot of the Ohio State guys in good position, up 78-67 on Illinois BC. And that's getting toward about a minute or so from the Elam ending. So they called a common foul, just on Bluff City. That went on Adonis Thomas, his second.
See that big A right there. Memphis now plays in American Athletic Conference. Connecticut is a team that just went back to the old Big East. So I look for this Memphis team, along with Houston, to be one of the two of the better teams in the American Athletic Conference next year.
Well, the top incoming recruiting class in all of Division I for Penny Hardaway.
Pretty good start.
Mm-hmm.
And Memphis is loaded with talent. Hardaway, of course, was an AAU coach, had a lot of connections in this area.
Speaking of talented, Jeremy Williams, impressive for Team 901.
Yeah, man.
He's their first double-figure scorer, 10.
This is his first year, a TBT. UTEP grad as well.
Barron likes to camp out around that three-point line. Little two-game with Crawford. Really tough shot, and Barron had his arm held down. Foul looks like it's going on Cummings.
Earl Barron, true 7-footer. They're trying to hold him off from the offensive rebound, but Cummings was literally holding him off. Personal foul.
Trying to set up Barron, instead Crawford and the hot hand.
Crawford certainly feels like he's got the hot hand. He is pulling that trigger.
Third three of the night, already 11 points for Chris Crawford. He spent 3 seasons in the G League. Some summer league stints.
That's not a good possession there.
But the offensive glass, Terrence gets the bucket and will go to the line.
Tough shot by Cummings, but Terrence bails him out. A putback and a foul. Take a look at this fall away with defense all over him, but Terrence sneaks in there behind Crawford, absorbs the contact and commits and completes the three-point play if he can hit this free throw.
Just had a look at Crawford. More than 1,200 points as a collegiate. Former 6th man of the year in Conference USA. Terrence impressive. Like the balance of Team 901. 5 of their 8 players, 5 or more.
I like their length. Just the versatility that they have over on the bench as well as on the floor. They can play a lot of different combinations, which makes you be able to play a lot of different ways.
Terrence fouled on the way in. He now has 9. Chance to get into double figures.
That's the old John Calipari philosophy, though. Recruit between 6'5" and 6'9". Interchangeable parts. All 5 guys can shoot. All of them can handle the ball. They can guard all 5 positions.
All unguardable themselves.
All capable of going to get buckets. Exactly.
And that mold up by a point here with Bluff City. Certainly plenty of entertainment here on our final game of what is day 1, round 1 here at the basketball tournament, Memphis Regional. Bluff City by a point.
The road has certainly been bumpy for the higher seeds. In Bluff City, this is a 7-2, but remember, this 7 seed Team 901 certainly was put together late, but they put together a really good team.
This is a 7-2, but it feels more like a 3.5, 3.5.
Yeah, it's very even. I mean, and you think about they're home too. So it's almost like an inter-squad Memphis game. Could go either way.
Terrence 1 of 2 to tie the game again.
And already 3 lower seeds advancing. Jackson, Tennessee underdogs. 8 seed beating the 1. That was a shocker today.
Someone might want to tell Chris Crawford to save some of this for the Elam ending. 14 now for him, 4 made threes. And looked like that last shot might have gotten tipped.
I thought it did. Nonetheless, we play on, going the other way. Taylor does not waste any time getting that ball.
End to end like nobody's business.
Yeah, man.
Position for Barron, and the line coming. His first 2 of the game.
Earl Barron, certainly a handful once he gets it in close with the mismatch. Nice spin to the baseline. Lots of contact, enough to deem it a personal. D'Angelo Riley tagged.
Earl Barron, of all things, an avid poker player. Actually played in the 2015 World Series of Poker.
Nice. You know his winnings? Did he win anything?
He ended up eliminated.
Oh!
Riley got the dump down. Fouled on the way up.
Very late call. It's almost as if that ball would have gone in, they would have just let it play on. But since he smoked it away, they blow the whistle, and it's the right call. D'Angelo Riley will go to the line for a couple.
It looks like the most Earl Barron's ever made in one sitting. $33,000 playing poker, which isn't too bad.
Not bad.
It's not World Series of Poker, top of the line good.
But it's more than you and me.
Correct.
So do you buy into the World Series of Poker? No, I don't know very much about that.
You either need a sponsorship or a buy-in, I thought.
Makes sense.
So you either take care of your own or somebody sponsors it.
You a poker player?
I am not.
No, me neither.
But total earnings of 6 figures playing poker.
Okay.
For Earl Barron.
So it's real.
Mm-hmm. Off the dribble and the miss for Johnson. That was telegraphed. Kemp
ran him out. Yep.
Foul line coming for Willie Kemp.
Johnson wants an explanation. Dominic, I tell you what you did. You ran through his path. And take a look at this replay here. This is a lot of, you put your hands up, but if you run through the guy's path and force him out of bounds, they're going to call that a foul. He feels like it was pretty good defense because he had his hands off of him. But, again, when you start running under a guy as they're jumping, they're going to call it a foul. And it certainly affected the shot. He missed a shot that he certainly would have made had he not been pushed.
One of 2 for Willie Kemp. Very successful career at Memphis. 3-time Conference USA tournament champ.
The old Conference USA. Uh-oh.
And speaking of Conference USA, there's Darius Washington.
There he is. Darius Washington is a guy I want to hear mic'd because he doesn't stop talking to himself and to the guys that he's playing against.
As long as you can channel it the right way, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Phillips, that's Curtis Phillips, the first time we've heard from him tonight. Former All-Ohio Valley at Tennessee Tech. And Bluff City, again, only up by 2. Team 901 hanging in. We started the day with 64 teams. By the time all is said and done, we'll have eliminated quite a few. 4 across 4 regions. So that'll knock us down to 48 after today.
Good
Tim
math.
Scarborough.
You did that without
the calculator this
nice.
time.
impromptu pressure there. But that's what happens.
And there's A.J. Jones, who had the hot hand early on for Team 901.
You trap these guards, they find the open man, and you're scrambling. A lot of times you're going to give up an easy one.
Thomas, the composure and the spin. Ten for Adonis Thomas. Jones missed it at this end. Washington, some contact, late whistle, and a blocking foul. That's on Willie Kemp. A Memphis region where they're hoping a higher seed could stick around. Just like the Hunger Games, the odds have not been forever in their favor.
No, sir. Did we have we set a record for the most movie references yet?
I don't know. But Crawford has had a huge first half, just not that time. Kemp, one-on-one. Can he beat Taylor? Yes, he can.
Oh, he beat Taylor. He beat everybody in the building right there. He was not to be denied.
Memorable first field goal of the night for Willie Kemp.
You think about the last game, the target score was 58. Both these teams may have 50 before the first half is over.
2 ties, 7 lead changes, and a push-off from Thomas, who just picked up what was that third personal foul. So he and Barron 3 apiece.
So 99 Problems goes to the bench with 3 personals. He's been giving it to him at that offensive end, but he got caught that time with a little push-off, trying to make some space. So Bluff City trailing by 1. Need a stop here and a score to go into halftime with the lead. He got the stop, and now the push.
Terrence lost it. Darius Washington, 5-second differential shot in game clock and a foul.
Veteran right there. He was going to draw that foul. Because there's a lot of contact, but not necessarily a foul. But he knew how to make that contact look like a foul. Non-shooting foul. The next one, they'll be in the bonus. But now they get a fresh 24 seconds. So no hurry here. You probably want to use most of this, I would think. But you never know. You got some top guns out here.
Washington not heeding the advice. So shot clock off. A 9:01, potential to walk into the break with a lead. Kemp, good drive, sent out. Crawford. But Kemp stays with it and beats the clock.
In traffic.
Only the second field goal of the first half for Willie Kemp. Both of them came in the last minute and change.
And that was a big one right there. Sends Team 901 into the locker room with the 3-point lead.
Inner city battle. And it's the 7th seed keeping up with the theme in Memphis. Up at the break. I'm not sure there's any question what our best game of the night has been. 97 combined points on the board between Team 901 and Bluff City. Here in our final game of the first round of the Memphis region, TBT 2019 edition. Bluff City got off to a fast start.
Well, you have a lot of weapons on this Bluff City team, not the least of which is their GM and power forward flexing on that one. And Coleman again with the 2-hand flush. But he was a nice presence early. And Crawford got it going. He's got 14 points, so 5 for 9 shooting. That's just 1 2-pointer. He took his game downtown, and then he shared because he cared right there. Adonis Thomas, a godlike performance in his own right with 10 points. Then on the other side, Torrance, the former Middle Tennessee State player, and then Williams with a nice spin move, and then last but not least, a splashdown from downtown, and it's the 7 seed, an underrated 7 seed, Team 901, who has a 3-point lead thanks to those performances.
Will Coleman hoping that his team can be the first high seed to advance. A lot of work cut out for them. Now back in the home of Graceland here in Memphis, 50-47, Team 901 on top of Bluff City. Darius Washington among the many Memphis alumni on this Bluff City team. But it's been the team with the guys that didn't play at Memphis that are from right here in the 901.
Both teams really shot the ball very well in the first half. A testament to the offensive skill of both teams because the defensive effort was there. 7 for 17 from downtown from Bluff City, 6 for 15. They're right there with them, 901. Both teams got to the free throw line. Both teams rebounded pretty well. Very evenly played game, very evenly matched game. The athletic quotient high on this one. And I tell you what, the higher seed, or the better seed, has lost every game so far. And this is a 2-7 matchup. Bluff City trying to avoid the Heartbreak Hotel here in Memphis.
And speaking of Heartbreak Hotel, how about Tim Scarborough's regional winners?
Let's take a look at that. So the region, gone.
Well, let's get our imaginary telestrator here. The region crossed. Memphis, Gale Force gone. Bluegrass boys right now on life support.
Oh,
down by 10, it looks like, entering the Elam ending in Lexington.
Wow, aren't they the host team?
I believe they are.
That's not a good look. Team Hines won today, though. Give me my credit right there.
Should have just picked Carmen's crew in Columbus. Any team that Aaron Kraft is on, is going to go far.
Yeah, I had to pick the upset. But again, the region, if their guys show up, I still like that pick.
I give you credit for actually picking the regions because I didn't, just so I could make fun of you the whole weekend.
I knew you cared. I knew you wanted to do that. You were dying.
It's it's part of the basis of our relationship.
Yeah, exactly. You're like the little brother that nags me to death, right?
Correct. Been following you around for years. Won't leave.
Yep. Can't get rid of you, Tooch. Don't want to, though, buddy.
Appreciate it.
And we're going to be together a lot. We got 2 more tomorrow, 1 Sunday here, and then we're in Richmond.
7 more next week.
Next weekend.
And looking
if I can miss some more picks.
Looking forward to that Richmond region.
Yeah, me too.
Overseas Elite, Ram Nation.
Green Machine, George Mason.
The Web.
The Richmond
alumni. And there's a lot. That
West Virginia alum is out there.
TJ Klein is on that Richmond team.
Yeah, Chandre Jones. That's my dude right there. That little guy can ball. I love him.
Yeah, Team DRC, sponsored by Dominic Rogers-Cromartie.
Yep.
NFL defensive back, former NFL D-back. Yep.
So there was a Team DRC last year, but they are now TNT, Florida TNT. And they did win today. Terry Hughes just sent me a text message and said, we survived. Their GM. It's hard, man. You can put together talent, but other teams have talent too, as you see here. Bluff City hosting, but they have their hands full with a team that was literally assembled this week. But man, they look like they've been playing together for years. 50 first half points. They were tough to stop. Let's see if they can continue this.
Yeah, we found out only at the beginning of the week
that
Team Every Day had forfeited. Jeremy Williams starts the second half with a miss.
And I wonder, obviously Bluff City wants to speed up, but I wonder if that plays to their disadvantage against this particular team.
Barron saying he got hit on the arm. He did.
He did.
That would have been the 4th foul on Ellis. Williams gets stripped. Tough start to the 3rd quarter for him. Crawford, good job of tippy-toeing the sideline. Good find off the setup, and got the friendly bounce. Taylor.
We are tied at 50.
3rd tie of the basketball game, quickly broken by Willie Kemp.
The pace of this game, the target score for Alumni is going to be like 150.
Yeah, our statistician Trevor had actually asked us, do these games get to 100? I like our chances tonight.
Yeah. A couple have right in the other regions for sure. But this one looks well on its way.
If you happen to hit the app or the link or however you got here late, 3 ties, 7 lead changes. 12.5 minutes of lead time for Bluff City, about 5.5 for Team 901. Coleman this time using the left and the soft touch.
And he got bumped too.
How about a 4th tie? Coleman now with 9. And got the strip out of bounds off of Williams.
Wow, they're going to turn that over. I thought that was a lot of contact there. But the strength of Coleman on display.
Honestly, in terms of touch, just physical ability, athletic ability, maybe my favorite player in this region.
Coleman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Really good player. Good dude, too.
Barron off the curl and left it short. And Crawford and Thomas and Coleman and Washington been the big sparks tonight. 40 of the 52 Bluff City points from those 4. Torrance and then Williams, along with Cummings and Kemp for Team 901. They've combined for 34 of the 52. Moving screen for Williams.
It's the right call.
If there's such a thing as 2 minutes and 9 seconds worth of momentum, it feels like it might be shifting back toward Bluff City.
That's a thing. 2 minutes and 9 seconds worth. Minuscule, but
correct.
Still.
Give me a break. This is game 4.
Whoa.
Coleman, offensive glass, and back on top for Bluff City.
Oh, Barron shot an uncontested air ball, but Coleman to the rescue.
8th lead change puts Bluff City out in front again.
Earl Barron wanted to travel, but when you're 260 or whatever he is and you bump a guy, you're going to make him travel. That's why they call the foul.
And need to be careful every now and then when you run to the other end like that.
Yeah.
Officiating crew could take that the wrong way.
Sure. And officials, if you heard one thing growing up, don't show them up because they have that whistle and they will humble
and you don't.
Quickly. Yep.
Barron sits down. He's actually in foul trouble. That's his 4th personal of the night.
Yeah. So you can understand why he's a little upset.
Torrance, catch and shoot.
Night. If Bluff City survives this, they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves because this is a tough opening round game for a host team.
Taylor setting it up on the wing for Dominique Johnson.
Louisiana United, the 6th seed, faces the winner of this one.
What a game that could potentially be.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be because Louisiana United is a really good team despite their lack of numbers.
Length, athletic ability, good guards.
Yeah, man. They are here to win it.
You have a lot of guys, too, on that team, comfortable, whether it's with the ball in their hands, off the ball. Posley is one of those guys. Tyron Johnson.
Yeah,
really impressed with Jordan Tolbert earlier tonight.
They know how to play. And Richard, too, was pretty solid
he was.
with the ball, even late game.
I almost feel like he has another gear than what he showed us to Patrick Richard.
Yeah. I could see that.
His pedigree would suggest that he does. Taylor playing a little two-game set-up. Coleman, who always seems to find the basket.
Well, there's very few basketball players built like him, and none of them want to get in his way.
Near steal that time for Johnson. But, I mean, for as big as he is, you almost think that half the time he would clang the ball off the back of the rim.
Yeah, he's got a lot of delicate touch around the rim, and that is difficult to do what he did. I didn't think he would even be in position to score, let alone get the shot off. Yeah.
5 of the last 7, 3 of their last 3 for Bluff City.
Bluff City with a bit of a cushion here, but based on the way this game is going, it's going to be short-lived.
D'Angelo Riley, one-on-one, and soft touch for him. Got it over Johnson.
These guys make it look easy, don't they? And now they turn it over.
Well, Coleman says, my bad.
We've seen a couple of errant inbounds tonight. And now a quick 3.
And Kemp.
Well, that's just being asleep at the wheel right there. And now the 4-point lead is down. They're actually trailing. That was fast.
901 responding by hitting its last 4 field goals. And the seesaw back to the other team from Memphis. About halfway through the third quarter in our final game of the first round here at the Memphis region. The basketball tournament, TBT 2019. 3 weeks toward a $2 million winner-take-all tournament. There are regional prizes. Both of these teams feels like talented enough to maybe play on Sunday. Thomas off of the miss, giving it back. Entry for Riley. Left it up on the rim. Ellis hitting the offensive glass.
This era of open post, 5 on the perimeter, we're seeing a lot of post feeds today. I like it.
And Torrance fouled going in.
You got guys looking to own that block at both ends.
Darius Washington commits what's his second personal.
Bluff City team is pretty good, which tells you how good Team 901 is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they're no
slouch.
No slouches themselves.
Man.
No slouch themselves. Nice setup for Cummings. Didn't quite get his feet under him. And going down the other way, out of bounds. Now, everything we expected this one would be. Washington puts Bluff City back in front.
Does not need a lot of space. And Washington does a great job of probing that defense, getting you a little bit off balance, and then stepping up and knocking down that shot.
Our 12th lead change of the night. Pinball toward the corner and out of bounds.
Darius Washington certainly isn't in shape like he was when he played professionally, but he's in much better shape than he was last year. He looked pretty good.
Timeout on the floor. And Bluff City on top. Can they get out of this first round? The basketball tournament is brought to you by Puma Basketball. And we go in the huddle courtesy of Puma.
Get the ball moving or get an attack. we're spacing the floor now. Things are getting open just coming off one screen. Okay? So if that's open, great. You get the ball moving a couple times, things are going to be wide open.
Matt Dunn, college basketball assistant. He's had stops at Northern Arizona. He's also at Memphis. Mentioned before, Coach Will Coleman, who's the GM of this Bluff City team at Miami-Dade Community College. That was where it started. And just recently added to the staff at IUPUI.
Ron Hunter's old school. Ron Hunter is now at Tulane, former Georgia State coach.
Washington, and they were talking about spacing, plenty of it there. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, Darius Washington is a handful. He can still clearly get it done. And give him that corner, using that body and able to finish. And it's
and the mug.
Anthony Jones.
The mean mug, by the way, for the camera.
Yeah, exactly. And Jones is wondering where the foul was.
Both teams have done a good job knocking down their free throws. Washington puts Bluff City at 75% on the night. Trying to move on, complete tomorrow's second round. Jeremy Williams with other ideas.
Shot makers, both ends.
9th three of the game for Team 901, and the second one for Williams. Now has 13.
That was a hotly contested shot. Almost got blocked. Still able to knock it down. That's a tough one, too.
Crawford with a missile. Williams in the run out. Torrance. And once it again, two straight.
They make it look easy. Good Lord.
16 now, and a 6-0 run in 24 seconds for Team 901. Game of the night here in Memphis.
No doubt.
They go into the rack and fouled.
Take a look at Williams with a three. Contested by Johnson, no match. And then, if he could do that, this is a piece of cake from downtown. 2 in a row for Williams.
Nice quick release for Jeremy Williams.
Smooth, too, man.
Gets set up and gets it out of there quickly. Jeremy Hunt, also some pro experience. Actually coached last year's team. Will Coleman said to him, you're a better, no offense, but you're a better player than you are a coach.
You still got something in the tank.
Still got some bounce.
You can pick up a clipboard at some point down the road, but not today.
5 fouls now on D'Angelo Riley. Has to sit down. You're out with 6. It's college rules with the exception of the fouls and a couple of others.
So it's a combination of FIBA, college, and pro. Which makes it uniquely TBT, huh?
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Nope.
Torrance lost it. A great save by Hunt.
Tightrope.
Slim lead for Bluff City. Washington trying to change that.
Me?
Yes, sir.
Are you kidding me? Come on, Darius. How can you still do that?
Cold-blooded from the outside. Torrance can't match. A contact and a foul on A.J. Jones.
Darius Washington is cold. The hustle and the tightrope act saves it. Great job. And now the push. And Darius Washington. He knew that was in when he shot it.
And now going to the line. Darius Washington, the Orlando native. He's won the Czech Republic League a couple times. Played in Macedonia this past year. Actually has dual citizenship. And plays on the Macedonian national team.
Nice.
I just want dual citizenship anywhere, Scar.
Yeah, man, that's nice, right?
There's not a spot on the national team, unfortunately.
No, not for Martucci.
Don't think so.
The Italian national team.
Maybe as a booster.
Right.
Or a water boy.
Bobby Boucher, another movie reference.
That's
there you
right. 7-0 Bluff City run. And 901 gives it right back. Torrance lost it. It's their 11th turnover.
Once again, the cushion. 6 points seems like a lot, right? But it can dissipate so quickly with the sharpshooting of Team 901.
This is a dangerous time, though, for 901. The largest lead for Bluff City has been 8. Flirting with that. Johnson to the rack. And they're back to their largest lead.
They're doing such a good job of spreading you out, putting shooters on the perimeter and then letting these creative guards go one-on-one to much success. Darius Washington is going to get tagged there. That's going to be his third.
9-0 Bluff City run now in the last 120.
Take a look. Look at all the space he's got to operate. He had Ellis, the big, on him. Ellis a pretty good athletic defender, but he can't handle a perimeter that's that good. Johnson taking advantage of the switch.
Another one who's been around. Poland, Israel, Turkey, Germany, Italy, China, Lebanon. Passport stamps aplenty.
Pros, man. Pro basketball players.
And they get the steal. And Hunt selling the issue.
Man. Hunt wants the clear pass foul, and he may get that. Take a look. Nice double team. Comes out of nowhere. Then he gets grabbed. I don't think it's enough to be a clear path foul. Because first of all, Hunt doesn't even have the basketball yet. And it's a foot race. And they're kind of even in that foot race. So to me, it's not a clear path foul.
Can you get a flagrant if you rip somebody's shorts?
You sure can if it's not deemed a basketball play.
True.
But I played a lot of basketball. Pulling someone's shorts is actually a basketball play. If a guy is trying to get away from you, grab whatever they're wearing. If you can get away with it. Yeah, that's definitely a basketball play in my opinion.
Trying to win the foot race by grabbing the shorts.
Yep. And it was more of a tug than a grab.
It was a scratch. No pick.
No pick.
No pick.
No pick. It's a scratch. There was no penetration.
No pick.
So we get an explanation now.
Just a common foul.
Yep. Just a common foul. That makes sense. Nothing egregious there. We play on.
Chris Paxi coming over to explain it to us.
We always appreciate that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes sitting in our seats, it's really hard to sort everything out. You know, you're trying to read lips and maybe take your headphone off a little bit so you can hear what's being said. But, you know, sometimes it's hard to discern. So it's nice to get an explanation.
Haven't had a double-digit lead tonight, Bluff City.
What a night, though.
Still stuck at their largest.
9 points now. This might be the biggest lead of any higher seed today.
And the question is, can they hold it?
Yeah. And Team 901 has gone cold since those two Williams three-pointers. Here he is again.
And there he is again.
3 straight splashes from Williams. Got to go to him, huh?
19 for Williams, who averaged almost 10 points a game as a collegiate between his two schools.
And Jeremy's tough. Finished up at UTEP, as we said earlier.
Stone hasn't had a bucket all night. Welcome to the party, Tyler Stone. Former NBA Summer League participant. Final 12 seconds of this third quarter. Williams got him in the air and got the contact. Foul on Chris Crawford.
Such a savvy move, though. That pump fake almost got me off the ground. I mean, I thought for sure he was going to go up the first time. A great job of getting Crawford off the ground and drawing the contact.
And if it's game 4 and he's getting you off the ground,
yeah,
that's impressive.
That's a heck of a pump fake.
It's been a long day.
$2 million, winner take all. You can understand the sense of urgency, and you really understand the sense of defeat and the deflated feeling, especially for a team like Team Arkansas, number 3 seed. People argue could be the most talented group in this region anyway. But I'll tell you what, this Memphis team is pretty talented too, and so is this 901 team.
Nice send and the finish.
Nice.
Stone with an exclamation point to end the third quarter. Bluff City heading to our final period of play with its largest lead of the night. And Tyler Stone
dropping off a package at the doorstep, and Stone does the rest.
Well, our winning share sent with Zell. 175K split with the exception of head coach Matt Dunn for Bluff City. Tonight would be step 1 of what 6 needed to take home the TBT 2019 title.
That's just another day at the office for Earl Barron in the poker game, though, right? 175K take home.
Yeah, 137,265 according to this poker website.
Yeah.
Earl Barron Jr.'s current total winnings. That's not bad. Not too shabby.
Holding cards in your hand.
Washington, plenty of bounce, finds the open man, Johnson. What a big second half he's had.
But that's Darius Washington, though, making an impact on this game. He turns that corner, spots Johnson. Johnson does the rest, makes it look easy with a nice catch and shoot splash.
And handed the cookie jar.
Was it? I'd love to see that. I didn't see the contact. But normally, when a guy loses the ball that much, he must have grabbed his arm or something. Let's see. We got a good angle for this. Get the hand out. Yep, the arm. Second angle.
4th personal, by the way, on Darius Washington.
And that's the right call. And that is a savvy play by Kemp, though. And that's a play that you see a lot of NBA guys do. If the guy's going to put his hand in your face or over the ball, you bring the ball up right through his hand and force the official to call a foul. Great job by Kemp, but he can't cash it in. Darius Washington, as you mentioned, with his 4th personal.
First miss of the half by Kemp, by the way.
Barron's got 4 too, the big fella. He's been sitting ever since he picked that one up. Will Coleman's over there too.
Yeah, asked Will Coleman about numbers, roster size. What do you think is best? He said he thinks 10 is ideal.
Ideal. 10 reliable.
10 reliable.
So to me, especially if you're not the host team and you got guys that travel, you got to sign up 13, thinking 10 will show up.
10 will show up. Yeah, that's true.
And like the VCU team, the Ram Nation, to me, the last couple of years, they've had too many guys. And I think Matt Shelton-Idy has put together his best team in terms of not just talent, but this year's team has all the right combination. They don't have as many guys. So once again, we'll see if they can overcome overseas elite. So far, that's the only team that's beaten them. This time, it's going to be in Richmond if they face each other.
This time next week, our Richmond first round.
Yep.
A little less than 4 minutes and a dead ball from an Elam ending. Washington hit the support with that shot. Octavius Ellis back in, as is Taven Cummings. Anthony Jones sits down.
It is interesting what the perfect mix is, though. First, not just the number of guys, but you have to have the right roles being filled too, right? Got to have some. You want your athletic quotient to be what we see now, first of all, and that was Gale Nation's problem. Gale Force, I should say, not Gale Nation. Gale Nation is Iona, but Gale Force, and they knew that was a problem going in. They didn't have the athletic quotient, especially with the wings that play in this particular tournament. There's a lot of good athletes at the 3-4 position.
Well, and you talked about it before. John Calipari basically had the mold for what he wanted a lot of these guys to be. And
yep.
You look at this roster for Bluff City, 6 or 7 of them are pretty much the same player.
Yeah, exactly. Interchangeable parts.
Yep. And they all do a lot of different things well.
Yep.
Williams had done pretty much everything well until that missed free throw. 21 for him, which is a game high.
4 for 7 from downtown. He hit 3 in a row in that third quarter.
And Jeremy Williams, split time between the Big 12 and Conference USA. Went to Hamilton High School in Memphis.
Memphis grows basketball players, don't they? And that's why Penny Hardaway, with his Memphis connections, should be able to start fielding some really talented teams at this university coming up the next few years.
Crawford going to the line. And Jeremy Williams, so successful. They were 39-0, his high school. 3A state title. They were number 7 in the USA Today end of season Super 25. And based on the show he's put on tonight from the outside, I can see why. It was 109-32 in 4 years of high school.
First of all, that's a lot of games. And second of all, that's a lot of wins.
I don't know what Chris Crawford's high school record was, but I'm sure it was probably pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so. But you know, that American League, American Conference now has Wichita as well. Greg Marshall, from what I'm hearing, has put together one of his best recruiting classes. Remember, that team got to the Final Four back in 2013 in Atlanta. A guy by the name of Fred Van Vliet was on that team.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well, huh?
Yeah. You think about what Fred has done with Toronto. He was, quite frankly, one of their best players. And he was very key to them winning the championship.
Big time.
And a year ago, he was their 15th guy, barely on the roster.
Ellis, offensive glass, wanted a foul call after Torrance missed badly. Crawford very much in control. Shot clock down to 10 and fouled.
And again, with Elam ending being in effect in 2 minutes and 38 seconds, or approximately that, a 10-point lead at this stage of the game, you are in the driver's seat. You just have to kind of keep that double-digit lead and don't let them shrink it much more than that if you do let them come back. That was either a walk or a foul. They just let them play on.
Johnson with the shot clock winding down. Barron able to deflect it to the corner. They keep it going. Fresh shot clock.
Might as well use it. 10-point lead approaching Elam. Milk it.
Blunt being hampered by Torrance. Nice drop off. Coleman just couldn't finish.
Got numbers. Lob it.
Kemp wants it himself with the left.
Nice left.
And we're inside double digits. And less than 2 minutes in a dead ball from Elam ending. Take the leading team, add 8 points to their score. That's your target score. Whoever gets there first wins and advances.
sure. Backbreaker right there. Now, if you're Memphis, you should try to use some more, but they don't. They turn it over.
Forced it. Cummings with numbers. Ellis went down to get it. And back to 2 possessions.
And this is why, if you're Bluff City with a 10-point lead in the ball, you may want to start using a little bit more clock. Now you let them creep ever so close. Still in the driver's seat, though, Tooch.
Only the 3rd field goal, by the way, for Octavius Ellis comes at a huge moment.
Got the deflection and the run out. And here, a nice lob, and Ellis able to finish. Second look, different angle. Nice push. Throw it up to the big fella, float it up there, and let him go get it. Great job by 901 to get that done.
Well, on one side, the climb back for Team 901. On the other, 0 for their last 6 and a field goal drought of what's almost 3.5 minutes. Bluff City picked a tough time to go cold.
He really did. Valiant effort so far, though. You think about, they knew who they had to play, and that's the thing, too, the familiarity. All these guys know each other. That made it a little bit more difficult for Bluff City, in my opinion.
It was one of the first things Will Coleman said. I know all those dudes.
Yeah. Then you wonder why he didn't keep a couple of them.
Right.
But again, it's more about Coleman has 9 or 10 guys, and we talk those extra spots. But secondly, it really doesn't get any more of a return on your investment, right? And it could throw your chemistry off.
Here's Crawford, Earl Barron, Adonis Thomas, Will Coleman, and Jeremy Hunt. Coleman trying to bring the house down. This got punched into the backcourt. And out of bounds. Who touched it last? Cummings? It was Cummings.
Will Coleman was almost looking in the rim. I really don't know how he misses that dunk, because it wasn't for a lack of height in his jump, that's for sure. Maybe the severity of the punch. He tried to hammer that thing down. See if we can take a look. He's got it. Great pocket pass. And I don't know, I think just it happens that way sometimes.
It's like that dunk you had in high school you were telling me about the other night.
It is, against the Worley brothers, Carlin and Jason. Sometimes the ball doesn't fit when you try to hammer it too hard. Oh, here they come.
Williams able to track it down. Almost had a front row seat. Thomas steals it back. Barron, numbers, in on Ellis, missed the layup.
Wow. And again, why are you rushing if you're Bluff City?
Williams left it on the rim, but Ellis, the offensive glass, and got it deflected out of bounds.
Think about this, Tooch. If 901 hits a 3 here, they're only going to be down 3 going into Elam when they were just down 10. And you have to think about what Bluff City has done to allow that to happen. Playing a little too fast, a little too loose with the ball. They've let a couple of runouts happen, and as a result, they are not out of the woods yet. Three-pointer here could be big.
27 seconds, and then the next dead ball inside 4 minutes brings us to our Elam ending. Now the numbers for how some of these have finished. You look at the comparison between college basketball. Nearly 60% of games you end up with deliberate fouling.
Yeah.
And look at the TBT with the addition of the Elam ending.
1.4 games, and again, that deliberate fouling was not during the Elam ending. It was during the time leading up to the Elam ending. So it just doesn't happen. You know, the only way I could think you would deliberately foul the Elam ending if it was a hack-a-shack situation. and the guy just keeps missing free throws, and you go down and score.
What is it? One of our 3 so far have ended on a free throw.
Yep.
It was the last game. Richard.
The last one. Richard missed the first one, made the second. And they had a very big cushion. Had he missed both of them, they were going to probably still win that game.
Bluff City 0 for its last 8, scoring drought close to 3 minutes. All this finishes up our first round. 2 games tomorrow for the second round, regional final, the third round. All to try to get to championship week in Chicago.
They ran a 3 play for Coleman, or should I say Williams, but he couldn't deliver.
And flash to the corner, they got the shot they wanted.
They did, but I like him on a catch and shoot more than moving. So now, if you're Darius Washington, you want to get this thing under 4 minutes and call timeout.
And that's exactly what they do. They strategize it. Tim Scarborough Consulting.
I have a lot of conversations with Nick Elam himself, so we talk these things through.
When we return, it's our final Elam ending of the first round here in Memphis. Bluff City trying to close out. 92 is our target score. Simple math, the Elam ending explained. It comes in our first dead ball under 4 minutes. No more game clock. Take the leading team score. That's our target score. How do we get there? Leading team score, add 8. First one to get there advances.
Pretty simple equation. So, leading up to the Elam ending, another simple equation is you probably want to have the lead going into this situation. Bluff City, to their credit, still maintains a 6-point lead, but it could have gotten dicey had they given up that last possession 3.
Washington continues, though, what's a 3+ minute scoring drought. But they turn it over, Team 901. Crawford, Washington, second chance. 2 misses.
Washington shoots better with the hand in his face.
And Hunt commits what could be termed a smart foul. Breaks up in any kind of transition. Bluff City now 0 for its last 10.
Just the 3rd team foul, so they're not in the bonus yet.
Plus 14 versus plus 8. So we get to the Elam ending. Kemp, the setup, Cummings, and Long, but right there, Kemp on the offensive glass.
Ellis had Darius Washington on a switch, and they didn't recognize it. 6'10 versus 6'2.
14 for Willie Kemp. Most have come since late in the first half. Thomas missed, but the cleanup. Tyler Stone.
Washington steals it.
And got it blocked out of bounds. Tyler Stone's only had 3 field goals. But it's felt like every time he scored.
Timely.
Yeah, timely, exactly. Six points away for Bluff City. The 6th seed Louisiana United waiting tomorrow in our second round nightcap.
12 points away for 901. It could happen, Tooch. Oh,
Crawford definitely got away with one, but sold it.
Man, a punch to the chops will give you space every time, I assure you.
And contact is Cummings coming through. Well, tomorrow overall, things get started at noon Eastern in the Columbus region.
Take a look at the foul. And I wasn't sure that he got hit there. Kind of just lost it in traffic, though. When you start reaching like that, that's what happens. They're going to blow that whistle.
12:00 and 2 for Columbus tomorrow. 4 and 6. This is Eastern time for Lexington. Greensboro 5 and 7. And we are 6 and 8 Eastern time. So we'll have the last 2 games of the day. Phillips long, but chased down by David Cummings. Kemp.
They could have used that bucket by Kemp.
4 points to advance for Bluff City. Crawford took the shoulder and they're 2 away. 20 for Chris Crawford. 2 shy of a game high.
And so this is where you start thinking about Elam ending. You could almost let them score and leak out a couple guys, because make or miss, all you need is 1 basket if you're Bluff City.
Yeah, they don't need it though. They don't need to give it up. Williams lost it out of bounds.
But you know what I mean though? You got a 10-point lead. They have to score you. Have to, whether you let them score or not, all you need is 2 points. You can go cherry pick a 2.
Team 901 has come apart in the last 90 seconds. 4 turnovers. And it's resulted in a 6-0 Bluff City run.
Yeah. Key moment. The worst moment, you could say. So 2 points away. Darius Washington with an Elam ending bucket in his career already. Knocked out this very team that he's playing with now.
Got it in traffic and traveled.
Yeah, that was a nice little dance right there.
Well, we said we could get to 100. Just didn't quite happen.
Yeah, we know for a fact it won't be 100 now, right?
Torrance missed it. Johnson and Bluff City supporters encouraging him to push the issue. Washington to the cup.
Was not fouled.
And lost out of bounds.
Darius trying to get his second career Elam ender. That's a thing now. We'll call it that.
The Elam ender.
Yeah.
The ender.
The ender. How many enders do you have?
Crawford's been big down the stretch. In on Kemp, and they'll move on.
Crawford with the ender. Exclamation point. And finally, a higher seed. Hold serve.
Bluff City in the upset region will not suffer the same fate. They'll move on tomorrow night and match up with the 6th seed Louisiana United. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, for the right to play in Sunday's regional final, 3rd round.
It wasn't easy though, Tooch. They were certainly challenged by a team that's familiar with them, a bunch of guys from Memphis. Again, late entry into the tournament due to Team Everyday dropping out. And we all owe them a debt of gratitude for stepping in and filling in. And they filled in admirably.
Chris Crawford matches a game-high 22. And fitting that he's the one to put it up. Make sure it sticks there in place, as they'll have a tough one on their hands tomorrow night with Louisiana United. Here's how it shakes out. 6 Eastern, 5 Central. The 8th seed Jackson Underdogs, who knocked Gale Force out of this tournament. And the Southern Gentlemen, who bounced Broad Street Brawlers. Then Louisiana United, who did so in dominating fashion against Team Arkansas, against this Bluff City squad. Tim Scarborough and I will have it for you. All of it wraps up Sunday to close out this Memphis Regional. For Tim Scarborough and our entire fine crew here from Memphis, Matt Martucci saying so long. And we get started noon Eastern tomorrow in the Columbus Regional. Good night from Memphis.